Hey everybody, welcome back. Now that the nerfs or the big patch is out and the old Autobomber is nerfed, people were testing around what's still possible to do, and I watched Jung testing out with Frostwalls and some infinite loops, and some green guy in his chat mentioned the boots Trampletoe. So basically they saved the build. It's not as fast as before, but the single target is way higher in some cases. And the big upside of all of it is that you are not crashing. And it's a bit more FPS heavy, the build. I have to say that. I noticed it a lot, but you won't crash or get rollbacked or anything like that. So the basics, how it works, as you can read here in the last line, that every overkill damage you're doing will also be spread out to every enemy within 2 meters. And since frost walls count as corpses or enemy corpses, every time you destroy them, you will deal the damage, the overkill damage to surrounding enemies. Basically, what we are doing is still cast on dodge with sparks just to trigger our cast on crit and our lightning bolt, or greater lightning bolt, how it is called now. And the good thing about the lightning bolt now is, or before as well, is that each crit of the lightning bolt also counts in for the cast on crit, so you will just trigger it more often, and basically you will get a loop, especially on bosses when you get more energy there, but it basically helps out to proc all the frost walls pretty quickly. From the gear side, what I have changed, now that we can go for more crit chance, I will swap to a crit chance wont and +1 level to lightning spell skills. Still keeping the cast speed, of course, for the blink. I mean, the cooldowns were nerfed so that you can't go lower than 100 milliseconds, but after the effect from Temporalis, to put it down to 100 milliseconds, you can still use things like ingenuity and cooldown recover rate to bring the counter a bit more down. As you can see here, the cooldown with ingenuity, and I have also anointed cooldown recover rate here, is down to 0.07 seconds. So every 0.07 seconds, my lightning bolt can trigger. The helmet, still the same, at Series Sustain with Spirit, just to fit in all the auras. Scepter, I have gone for a different one now, just with Strength instead of Intelligence, but you can still go for Int. I switched around in the passive tree, so I had to get a bit more attributes, and that's why I switched here to Strength. Amulet, still the same. As I said, I took the cooldown recover rate, but you can also get like more crit damage. There are a few nodes that you can take. I will also switch around a bit. I was just testing how it feels, if it feels like more is triggering or not, but I think the 10% is not that big of a deal maybe, but also nice to have is the area of effect. But yeah, still in the testing, so the build is not finished yet. Still have to iron out a bit, but yeah, for now. Got a different Temporalis just with a bit more cooldown, but it doesn't matter, you just have to break the threshold of blink. So the inherent blink cooldown needs to be overcapped, so you can blink all the time. I would suggest like 3.1, 3.2 maybe, minus seconds. Yeah. For the rings, going for, of course, life, rarity, some attributes, and I needed to switch them around to get a bit more resistance, because we are using now Trampletoe, and there's no resistance on there despite the rune socket. Of course, Ingenuity belt, just to get a bit better bonus, but it is not needed or not a must-have. You can also have a good belt with extra charm slots and sublife, mana, resistance, what you need. Still the series acuity, of course, trying to get as high with crit chance as possible, and still the leech from crits is instant, because we are critting more now, we are more often always full on life with the leech, so that's pretty nice to have as well. The rest of the gear, still the same, of course, flasks and charms, now it's only one. I will switch around a bit, I just have to see if I get stunned more or frozen more, but for now that's fine. For the skills, the changes for Lightning Bolt are just that I don't use Life Tap anymore here, instead Ingenuity. Life Remnants with the Vitality, but you can put it on Blink or Grim Feast as well. To that cast on crit, I will come... Yeah, I can talk about it now. That's just the switch for bossing. I will go over it again, but link to it, of course, Frostwall, Energy Retention, Fortress, and Magnified Effect. I still have to test around a bit if Fortress makes sense or if there's any other a bit better skill for it, but for now I'm testing it with Fortress. Also, bosses are dying so fast that you can switch around like you want, so also between the both custom crit links, you can also switch around how you feel. Still in the testing what's the best links for it. For the main custom crit, also of course Frostwall, I use it with Life Tap, Impendious, Spell Cascade, just to have a bit more of them, and I don't know how exactly I have to pronounce it. I think Iceisle or something like that. The good thing about that is that the ice crystals, which you're destroying, have 50% life. So 50% life means that you will deal a bit more damage, because the overkill is higher because they only have half the life that they normally would. The custom dodge is now a 6-link, still acceleration and chain, and I also added fog in it. So previously on the old version of the build, the fog was in the spark for custom crit, but since the spark there is gone, I used it here for the 6-link just to get a bit better cleavage or a bit coverage of spark. Grim Feast, of course, a no-brainer, very good defensive. Now I have over 3k shield, so I will have 6k shield nearly all the time while mapping. Eye of Winter, still for single target, so mainly for bosses, but you can also use it for tough rare mobs in maps. You can use it with deceleration. I still have to figure out if I like the shorter range, but that's fine. Archmage is pretty much gone. I still kept it in here just to test if I can rely on it or not, but it's fine to not use it. Surely it's a bit more damage, but I think the double custom crit is still the better way to go. But I think for bosses, depending on the boss, you could deactivate Blink and Grim Feast and play around with it, and no Vitality, and you can still use Archmage if you want more damage. Blink, still the same, Arcane Tempo and Clarity. The most changes are to the passive tree. So for now I switched for controlled metamorphosis just to get the pure power and save a few of the passive points, and also get the dredged and lightning quick. On this side of the tree I dropped cast speed and increased mana cost of skills, because I don't rely so heavy on cast speed anymore with Blink. I still have to see if I want the cast speed back, but maybe I will also go for the cast speed here, just to get a bit better or a bit faster with blinking. For now I took Storm Judged here, just to have a lot more crit chance and elemental damage, because now we want really high elemental damage just to deal more damage overall. I switched the Time Lost jewel down to here just to get a bit more spell damage for triggered spells, because of course not only Spark and so on is a triggered spell, but also the Great Lightning Bolt or Greater Lightning Bolt. I also fit in Megalomaniac with Crushing Wave and Branching Bolts. So here Crushing Wave, just a bit more damage when you deal a critical hit. And the Branching Bolts here is nice just for the chaining, so you get more screen coverage. You don't have to use that, you can use different ones. I just feel like it's a nice to have extra damage, but there are a lot more skills you can take. I still have to figure out which are the best ones. The rest of the jewels are pretty much the same. Spell damage, crit chance, crit damage, some mana on kill with crit damage, and some more nodes with crit damage as well, and crit chance. That's basically the changes to the passive tree. Still using Mind Over Matter, so the defense for the build, and of course Eternal Youth. So the defense of the build is still the big hit pool, so with double the life, double the shield from the Remnants and Grim Feast, and also my mana. I'm pretty good in maps, so I don't really get in any dangerous positions. For bossing, I will also give you a map showcase like the last time at the end of the video, and now I will go over what's good for bossing, what to change, and yeah. How good bossing looks now that you're not crashing or lagging all the time. So basically the main change you just have to do is disable custom dodge, enable custom crit, just to have the double Frostwalls proccing. And as you can see in a second, the damage is still pretty good. As we saw, the damage still pretty holds up to every other build at the moment on the top tier, and mine is not min-max still, so I still have to change around a bit with the support skills and some of the passive tree. Maybe we can tweak out a bit more damage here and there, but overall, of course, the other build or the nerf is a bit justified because servers were just too laggy from that, and the crashing instances and the rollbacks were just too much. So I can fully understand why GGG nerfed the build, but yeah, now we just have to see how long we will live with the Trampletoe version. But for now, that's a pretty good 2.0 version of the Autobomber, and I hope you enjoy it. If you have any suggestions, you know what I mean, some examples what to change maybe to get a bit better clear or a bit better damage, just leave them in the comments down below. I will keep you updated with any new versions of the build.